We continue on now to Explore Korea, our weekly segment where we look to uncover cultural, historical and travel highlights that the country has to offer. And joining me in the studio this week, it is our arts explorer, An Jae-woo. Jae-woo, hello. It's great to see you again.
Thank you so much, Chang. It's great to see you too.
Okay, so what or who are we talking about this week?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about an artist who I believe fits into the Explore Korea segment of our show as well as anyone, especially regarding his most recent works. He's a young artist who's been winning acclaim both here in Korea and overseas in recent years. Now, when I went to his currently running solo exhibition last week, I saw for myself why so many people have been paying close attention to his craft. Hashtag A Star is Born. He has that rare ability to represent the seemingly least novel subject matters with the most novel techniques, which inspires viewers to rethink and reappreciate a few common elements of our lives in a highly uncommon and creative way. Chang-ho, this week's artist is Yoon Ilkwon.
Okay, so taking non-novel subject matter and making them novel, interesting. Mm-hmm. So tell us more about it then.
Okay, so Yoon Ilkwon was born in 1990 in the beautiful and dynamic city of Incheon. He's currently based in Seoul and London. He received his bachelor's degree in printmaking from the College of Fine Art at Hongik University, which is, as I said many, many times on our show, which is considered one of the top 3 art schools in Korea. Then he earned his master's degree in the same field from one of the world's most prestigious art schools, the Royal College of Art in London. He graduated from RCA. RCA.
Oh, Lord, okay.
I hope I got that right. But yes, he graduated from RCA in 2019, and in the same year became the winner of the Arts Depot Open, a London-based annual art competition for artists based in the UK. Now, he's done 5 solo exhibitions so far, 3 here in Seoul, 1 in London, and 1 in Turin. And as for group exhibitions, according to his website, he's exhibited his works in a healthy number of countries across the world by participating in 24 group shows since 2015, which was a year before he completed his undergraduate studies here in Korea.
Wow, so despite his young age, it seems he has an impressive body of work and experience already then.
That's right.
Okay, so tell us about his craft then. What is he known for?
Okay, so Chang-ho, as you can tell from his academic background, Yoon Ilkwon is apparently a print artist. He exercises various styles of printmaking, including silkscreen printing, etching, and lithography. Now, if you're not that much familiar, for all our listeners out there, with this kind of terminology, silkscreen printing, lithography, you don't have to worry about that too much. However, I do want to point out 2 things. If you go to an exhibition like this particular artist, you'll be amazed at how many different styles and techniques of print making actually exist. It's far more diverse than what people who aren't too familiar with printmaking generally think. I mean, think about it. In my case, when I, did elementary school, middle school, and high school here in Korea, printmaking was basically they give you a rubber board, you carve it a little bit, put some ink on it, put some paper in. Oh, so maybe that's what printmaking is all about. No. That's only a tiny, tiny tip of the iceberg, right? So he's a rather very, very talented and versatile printmaker. And furthermore, he's been expanding his craft into sculpture, installation art, photography, and video art as well. And what I so much appreciate about this craft expansion of this particular artist is, you know how they say a rolling stone gathers no moss, especially for young artists. So you just focus on that one thing that you're trying to get done and don't worry about expanding your craft, doing all these different kind of things. In his case, it's like, well, you know what? I'm so talented. I'm just going to do this and that and that and that and that. That's number 1. So he is very talented. Another thing is, imagine trying to enjoy a nice bowl of soup with chopsticks.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that for different kinds of meals, we have different kinds of silverware, right?
I see. Okay.
So
yes.
That would be the counter argument I would make. And the reason why I'm talking about all this is because, when it comes to a subject matter, it's like he sees all these things in everyday life which inspire him in a way which it doesn't for other people. Like, for example, An apple falling down from an apple tree, that's just, okay, it's an apple falling down from an apple tree for most of us, including myself. But for someone like Isaac Newton, no, that was the principle of the universe, right? And I guess what I'm trying to say here is that for someone like Yoon Ilkwon, he sees all these everyday, seemingly not novel things. What he thinks is, wow, there's really, really something we have to reconsider here. So what he does is he tries to find that perfect piece of silverware for that meal. And what's rather brilliant is that he even creates original art techniques himself when he believes it's necessary to do so for more ideally realizing his ideas. For example, it's not like somebody invented the slotted spoon first and then a regular spoon later, right? We first had the regular spoon and then thought, oh, just to have the solid stuff in that wonderful soup, maybe, and, get rid of the liquid, maybe we should also invent a spoon that has holes in it, right? So that's where I'm trying to get
Right,
at.
okay. So, yes, I guess we can call him the Isaac Newton of the Korean art world, perhaps. But you said that he uses original art techniques. What do you mean by that as well, though?
Okay, so I'll give you one specific example. Let's go back to 2019 in London, where he was, once again, the Arts Depot Open winner of that year. Now, he won the prestigious prize with this monumental piece named Memory. And this is, for printmakers, oh, that's a work of printmaking. For sculptors, no, that's a sculpture. For installation artists, no, that's an installation, right? So it's really, really difficult to put this one artwork under one category of artistic technique.
Okay.
But I'll try to verbally explain what exactly is going on here. It's this huge cube-shaped installation. Each edge is 155 centimeters long. And on each side of this cube, there are silkscreen prints of pages from his elementary school yearbook. Okay? And in terms of material of this cube, they are piled napkins made of recycled paper. So it's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of recycled napkins made of recycled paper, that brownish kind of, napkins, right?
Sure.
So he gathers them, like thousands of them, and made this gigantic cube. And on each side, he did printmaking work with silkscreen of images from his elementary school yearbook.
Right, okay.
So it's like a cubic, large-size elementary school yearbook, if you will, on this brownish paper. But it's not regular paper. They're napkins piled up.
I see what you mean by you can't really define it as whether it's just installation art or printmaking or, yes, as you said, it's a mix of all these elements then.
That's right. So for someone like myself, I'm appreciating the artwork and I'm thinking, wait a second, why did this particular artist try this kind of an attempt to represent what he's trying to represent? And this is my breakdown. First off, when you have that not white but brownish paper, it has that kind of a faded color texture, right? And if you think about our elementary school yearbooks, unless you're like in the 7th grade or first year in middle school, right? It has faded quite some, over the years. So it's no longer white. It's really yellowish. Just like what? Napkins made out of recycled paper. So it shows that vestige of time.
Okay.
Number two, because it's recycled paper, it's not just any kind of paper. It's a paper that has some kind of a history and experience transformation. What I mean by that is when you just graduated from elementary school, you get that yearbook, you take a look, so his picture looks funny, her picture looks interesting, yada, yada, yada. Many years later, you shed a few tears. Wow, we were so pure and innocent back then. What are we doing now? How has changed? Time transformed us from these innocent beings into the adults that we are now. That kind of a feeling, right? And because they're piled napkins, they're actually layers, which may symbolize layers of time. The stratification of the many, many days, months, and years of our lives which have passed since then, right? And another thing that's really important is that it's not like just a direct photocopy of these pages from his yearbook, but there are some parts of that yearbook that are deliberately taken away. So there are some voids on the actual art piece. And according to the artist, what this actually means is that if you think about it, our memory after so many years isn't as clear as when we were actually elementary school students. Some friends we remember, some we don't. So how do you represent that? With those voids, those missing spots, right?
So yes, it's a very thought-provoking piece then with a lot of layers, you're saying.
Yes, and for anyone out there, especially for our listeners who are currently living in Korea, especially in Seoul, if you want to check out the actual art piece, there's a smaller and newer 2023 edition version of this work, which is part of his currently running solo exhibition here in Seoul.
Right, that leads us to our final part then. Can you tell us about this exhibition? You said it's being held in Seoul. Can you give us more details?
Yes, the title of the show is Things Around Us. The venue is a lovely gallery by the name of PAGEROOM8. It's in the Samcheongdong/Bukchon Hanok Village. Of course, it's a beautiful tourist attraction. The show runs through the 16th. For more information on the venue and the show's details, you can go to pageroom8.com. And if you think about this title of the show, it's Things About Us, right? The original Korean title is 뒤, 옆, 아래, 위, which literally means behind, side, under, over.
Right.
Which means there's no front.
Okay.
Right? And what that implies is that when we take a look at everyday things, right, we first just look at the surface, the quote-unquote front of them, but we don't care that much about what's on the side, what's behind, what's underneath. In other words, the other facets of these wonderful gems. For example, that old bookstore in your neighborhood. It's just that old bookstore in your neighborhood for so many years, and then finally, after it goes through gentrification, oh my goodness, all those wonderful childhood memories that I had at the bookstore.
Right.
You finally rethink, reappreciate that, right? How do you discuss that kind of a phenomenon through art? This is a rather brilliant way.
Well, it sounds like a fascinating exhibition from a fascinating artist. For pictures from the exhibition, our listeners can check out our Instagram, KBS_Korea24. Okay, that's all for Explore Korea this week. Joe, as always, thank you for introducing us to this artist, Yoon Ilkwon. Till next time, take care and have a great week.
Lovely.